You don't know. You can rent from yourself. You can rent from your own business. That's free game, right?
Ooh, nugget! I swear. If y'all didn't catch that nugget, I swear to you, bro, say it slow. Say it slow.
From yourself. I don't know if that's gonna resonate.
Please tell me.
That might have to be a whole nother live in itself.
Oh my God.
That gotta be a whole nother video work.
Girl, you just spit some fire. And I don't even think they know it though. I think that's what's getting me. Like, I don't think they know that you just spit some fire just now. If I have the ability to safeguard my kids and get them situated, hey Terrell, get them situated and get them put into a situation where they don't have to deal with things as hard. Like, I was working a full-time job at 15. A full-time job. I wasn't working no 15, 20 hours a week. I'm working 42 to 45 hours a week on top of school. And people will be like, that's good. My kid need to get a job. They need to be working. They need to make their own money. Blah, blah, blah. What? Why? We already perform lower in our schools because our kids don't get a chance to focus on being students. I've worked in community development for over 10 years, and I've watched kids not get a chance to focus on being a student, to focus on being a child, to focus on being an athlete, because they have to carry the weight of their household because their parents are irresponsible. Mm-hmm. Now, granted, don't come on my post talking about, oh, people, you know, financially not being backed. That, I'm not talking about those people at all. I'm not talking about the people who are truly at a financial disadvantage. But I am talking about the people who are in a position to make better decisions and they choose not to. That is irresponsible. And it's irresponsible for me not to tell you that it's irresponsible. Because at the end of the day, if you have the financial backing by you making a few different choices, there's no reason why your 15-year-old kid is working a full-time job. There's no reason. Even if you want to teach them the structure of work and you want to teach them how to be hard workers, okay, cool. Make them work for your business part-time. Mm-hmm. Make them show up to work with you on a Saturday. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying?
Start that family business and teach them the ropes along the way so that when you perish, the business lives on and stays within the family, stays within the community.
Because I made a post like a week or so ago. Black people don't own shit. And I had people that want to come on my post and be like, don't say black people don't own shit. They got shit. Some people got houses. I own shit. And I'm still saying black people don't own shit. And the reason why I'm saying black people don't own shit is because as a collective community, we don't own shit. People are like, oh, they're destroying their own communities. I mean, but for real, do we really have a community?
Really?
That ain't your shit. You renting your house from somebody else who's profiting off the benefit, who's profiting off having a property as an asset, because it's no longer a liability because you paying their mortgage for that asset, for that lot, which would be a liability if they were paying. So when you live in your house, it's a liability, right? Because it's not making you no money. So then you have these other communities who are starting businesses. They're opening their houses. They're buying these houses. They're renting them out to you for 3 times the cost, writing off all of the deductible expenses that are simulated with having that house. They're now making 4 times what they would be paying for that house by you renting it. So as a community, no, we don't own anything. We don't. And if we don't change our mentality around ownership, we're going to stay where we are. We have no leverage.
You can do all the protesting in the world. When the dust settles, then what?
Because let me tell you something. There's one thing white people do, okay? They be in their little communities, the little HOAs, and their little, you know, where their kids go to school and the parks and shit like that. Mm-hmm. And let somebody come in that community, police officer, politician, or anybody come in that community and say they gonna do anything. Oh, we're gonna put a camera up here. No, the hell you not. What happens? That whole community goes up there like, we pay taxes in this block. We own these buildings here. We pay for whatever it is that they pay for. And guess what? Ain't no motherfucking camera. Why? Because their money is leverage. Their ownership is leverage. But we don't have no leverage.
Some things Terrell said. Thing is, black people love putting their kids out at 18. I'm going to just say what's real. Exactly. We was talking about that today as we passed one of those houses.
Which one?
We were talking about how...
it was this big house. Because we live in Georgia. So, like, everything's a mansion. Like, you don't even really have to try. You just drive by. It's a mansion. Okay, let's rephrase. Everywhere we drive by, because I'm picking out my houses. They mansions. Now, when I look at them, when I tell you, I'm talking like mansions. Like, you look at them and they look like they might be a regular house. And then you drive around the side of it and it's like double deck.
2 other houses.
It's like 3-4 houses behind that thing. Like, these houses are humongous, right? And Kiara made a comment and she was like, that shit got like 8 cars. Why you need like 8 cars? I was like, nigga, all their kids still live there. All their kids still in there. They be 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. Living at home with their parents in their little mansions. Why rent? I got a whole wing of the house.
Right.
I'm not paying the rent. If my parents were in a financial place for me to be able to benefit off them having financial stability, I'd be at home. Why? Why wouldn't I be? Why wouldn't I be? And you think they paying rent?
Hell no.
Not only are they not paying
assets to pay for that.
Not only are they not paying rent, but they're bringing in jobs that are paying close to 6 figures.
Right.
So you're sitting at mommy and daddy's house in your little mansion on the left wing of the house, making close to 6 figures, not having to pay a dime in rent.
But what I see a lot of times, and with our community, we talk shit. Oh, you living off mommy and daddy's? You goddamn right.
Listen.
Why your child ain't living off what mommy and daddy did? Or what grandma did, great grandma did. They planted those seeds for you.
Because people want to keep up with the
When you die, you can't take all this shit with you. You set your family up so they can have that benefit. You know what I'm saying? That's how I look at it. That's how I see it.
That's exactly how I'm looking at it. Like you're saying,
it's smart.
Why are you making it hard?
Life ain't gotta be that hard. Your children ain't gotta be that hard.
People are 30 and 40 years old and can't sustain a full household financially, and you expect an 18-year-old to do it with no financial literacy background, with no almost 6-figure paying job, and with no parents who have the ability to say, "Oh, I can cover you for the first 6 months that you live here." My kid's gonna have to beg me to work. You're not going to work. For what? We bringing in the money. You can just be here. You can come with mommy to work, though. You can come over here across the hall to mommy's home office. You can work here.
Right.
What you need to go work for? Your only job is to be a student and to be a kid. That's your job. And that's the problem. Black kids don't get that luxury because we're not positioning them and we're not positioning ourselves to be able to even position our kids that way.
Keisha said, we need to just do better. I worked at a young age, but my mother didn't know any better. But she did her job because I'm in a better place than she was, and my kids will be better than me.
Exactly. And that's the objective, for your kids to be in a better position than you.
Yeah.
I do not want anyone to think that I'm bashing our parents because, again, they did what they thought at that time was smart. Again, the credit industry, the financial industry has dramatically changed since the 70s. Okay, when I talk to my dad and when she talks to her grandma and when we're talking to our elders in our family, they don't know anything about credit.
Because they didn't have to, it wasn't as important then.
They didn't have to pay their bills. They paid their bills.
So then they teach their kids what they know.
Right.
And then they teach their kids what they know. Now that the times have changed, now we got to educate our parents like, yo, mom, like I did, mom, dad, it's time to fix this credit. It's time leveraging your credit, and we're gonna go buy this $1 million house.
Let's just say that
gonna work.
all of our parents are enrolled in our program. Let's just put that off right there. All of our parents are enrolled in our program.
My mama said, I use cash for everything. Nah, we're not doing that. Cash is king, but credit is power.
And that's what we need. We need the power. The power component is what we're missing. Because, again, the conversation is not happening enough. People don't want to talk about it. And I'm cool talking about it. And I'm only going to really talk about it to people who are willing to listen. Because I don't have a whole lot of patience. I really don't. I be trying to, but I don't. Because if you're not in a space to where you're ready to better yourself and better your kids, I'm not going to chase you to understand that. Like I said, y'all know we go live. We talk about stuff here and there. We said we're not having a Credit Tip Tuesday because we're not. But then all of a sudden, this kind of feels like a Credit Tip Tuesday, even though it wasn't a Credit Tip Tuesday. Because it's like, again, being out there on the front lines just reminded me so much more of like what we don't have. And it irritated me. It irritated me because these people who are sitting in these positions are not talking about this part. Nobody wants to have this conversation. Even the people who are in wealthy positions in the black community are not talking about this. They're doing it. You think they kids is out here having to leave a house and work full-time jobs at 18? And if they do, I'm sure mommy and daddy paying a nice little amount of money to get them their backing that they need. And this is what I don't understand. Like, I'm not understanding why this is the conversation people don't want to have.
Right.
Like, out of all conversations to not want to have. Like,
my biggest thing is just when the dust settles, then what? What are we doing to change the narrative surrounding all of this? We already know when it comes to this country, clearly COVID showed, they value the dollar more than the lives. But when in my opinion, they should have did a total shutdown when the shit hit the fan. But
they're not going to do that because we know that cash is king. And so we're living in a capitalist
value
country.
The dollar more than our lives.
Yeah.
So then in our community, why would this not be one of the number one topics surrounding our whole entire situation?
That whole correlation you just put together there was nice.
Like that.
I did.
Yeah,
because that's legit what it is, though. Because they've already made it clear that they value money more than our lives. And again, we ain't got no money. So, what's the leverage? But again, we do have money. Because black people as a collective spend $2
we got money. It's just
billion.
Was
it $2 billion or trillion? $1 billion. $2 billion. I'm going to say $2 billion, but it could be big. It could be more. Mm-hmm. That's how much we spend. Just our community, how much money we dish out to everything and everyone else in a year. And imagine if we withheld that money and was like, instead of buying all of the unnecessary shit, we decided to buy deeds and stock and property and land and start businesses. Mm-hmm. The impact would be detrimental to our economy. Detrimental.
Exactly.
Our money runs this economy. Our money runs this economy. Thank you. 1.2 trillion. Thank you, Keisha. See, got the right people on here. $1.2 trillion is spent a year by black people. Imagine if you just took a fraction of that. What if you just bought half of the useless ass shit that you buy? You don't even gotta get rid of all of it. Half of the useless ass shit that you buy and toss away somewhere and don't even fucking look at. Mm-hmm. If you did half of that, and you use that other half to invest in stock and buy property and start a business and things like that, and things like that. Whoo, child. Talk about a COVID shutdown. They would lose their shit.
Exactly.
And this is the video that has 10 people watching. You see what I'm saying? Like, this is what I'm talking about. I hope y'all sharing this video. Look, I'm trying to tell y'all. I'm trying to put y'all on game. I'm trying to tell you. It is a requirement to have assets. We don't get to choose it anymore. We don't get to say, oh, it's cool to have, an extra stream of income, or, oh, it's cool if we, own our house. I just kind of want to rent. Okay, well, rent, but buy property and then rent that property to somebody.
Exactly. You don't know. You can rent from yourself. You can rent from your own business. That's free game, right?
Ooh, nugget! I swear. If y'all didn't catch that nugget, I swear to you, bro, say it slow. It slow.
From yourself. I don't know if that's gonna resonate.
Please tell me.
That might have to be a whole nother live in itself.
Oh my god.
That gotta be a whole nother video work.
Girl, you just spit some fire. And I don't even think they know it, though. I think that's what's getting me. Like, I don't think they know that you just spit some fire just now. This is why it is important to have assets, y'all. This is why, because then it becomes the thing, like we said in a previous video, where you're not actually paying for anything. Oh, Carisha wants to know how.
Yeah, that's gonna have to be a whole nother live.
Give it to him like
That's
a little
whole.
So in our past video, I can't even tell you how long that video. We had a video a little while ago that basically said to basically start up businesses, right? Because you use your businesses as leverage as yourself, but the business is the entity of which represents yourself. That was mad fucking extra. I ain't have to say it like that. That was so extra. Basically, this is going to be a very short answer because it really is a longer process than this. But you have a business that owns this property, and then the business itself is the renter, is the rentee that is renting it to the renter. Because the business owns this property, not you as a person. And so that's what, so Sean's breaking it down in there. Boom. See, Sean, I got there, Sean. You had to do me. I was going to come to it.
Sean, like, you being extra, Willie. Here's what it is.
But shit. I just said it. Sean just wrote it right there in the comments, okay? So that is...
What he said, because I can't see it.
He said what I just said. Start an LLC, buy property under the business, and rent it to yourself.
Yeah.
And so that's the process of it. Because once you do that, again, the business is the entity that owns it. And then you're renting it from yourself, which is the business. And this is what everybody else is doing.
Everything's a goddamn tax write-off.
Everything. I'm trying. It's like I said it in one of my other videos for business owners. Everything legitimately is a tax write-off. Everything is a tax write-off. And so this is what you need. This is what we need to start prioritizing in our community. This is what the structure needs to be. This is what the conversations need to be had is. Okay? That way, once you know, you pass it to someone. You pass it to someone. You pass it to somebody. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the conversation that we're trying to have. And well, amidst everything that's going on, we want to educate people on these processes so people can learn to leverage themselves, leverage their businesses, build wealth within their family, for your generation,
for the community.
Because again, I see families and they have companies they were like established in 1894. Still family run and family operating. How do you think they do that?
Exactly.
They create a business entity and they streamline it down generation to generation to generation to generation. These kids are being born into wealth by not doing anything, and all they did was start a business. They're not, the Nikes or, the Adidas companies or companies that are this large, they're not doing any of those things, but they are using the capita that they have. They're maximizing it by starting a business, and then they're passing it down from generation to generation to generation. And this is what we're trying to embed in our community.
And like a lot of people think, I don't have that much money to be able to start a business. I don't have that much money to be able to buy property. This is why you leverage your credit. This is why credit is power. A lot of times you position yourself the right way around the right people. Shit, sometimes you don't even need to have the credit. You just got to have a syndicate of people to get together. This person got the credit. This person's got the money. This person's got the knowledge or the experience. Y'all come together as one entity, and you don't have to pay for shit.
Nothing. Once you
could just be the one syndicating the whole deal, bringing everybody together to go get this money.
Mm-hmm.
Bro.
And this is why when we talk about everything that's going on, we're definitely streamlining credit. And I know they're like, oh, they always talk about credit because it's important. And I didn't realize it was important. You know what I'm saying? My family didn't realize it was important until it was too late for them. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm grown now. I don't get the benefit off none of the wealth that you could have created for me. Mm-hmm. Now all I have is the option to have my children be able to benefit off the wealth that I create. You know what I'm saying? Like, credit is the thing, because once you start to build, again, I had a video that went over the whole things you need to do to start a business, but I will reiterate. If you are going to start a business, you start building that business credit, and you're leveraging your business. You're building credit.
Especially when you got business credit, you definitely ain't coming out your pocket.
Building credit should be your priority, because I don't spend no money.
Especially in today's age.
I don't
It wasn't
spend. We don't
important
spend
back
no
then, but
money.
now.
We leverage credit. We got good credit, and now we leverage that to get more things to give us more credit and more money.
Basically, and
It's
it
like
just keeps going.
that's literally what it is. Like you get a little bit of credit, right, and then you're like, oh, cool, I want that. So then you get that, and then that multiplies, and then you're like, okay, now I'm going to take all of these things and I'm going to leverage them into more
If
credit.
you got great credit, 0% interest.